Okay, well, we've been talking about it all morning long, but first let's take a listen to the comments which we are about to discuss.
In my estimation, Mormonism is a cult, and it would give credence to a cult to have a Mormon candidate.
Okay, so those lines right here over the weekend have made a lot of buzz out there. Now, of course, this was made by an evangelical pastor. And now joining us today to talk about these comments, what it means for the political world and everything, we've got Sherilyn Eager, of course, who's a congressional candidate. We also have Reverend Myke Crowder from the Christian Life Center up in Layton. Is that right?
That is correct.
Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. This can kind of be a sticky issue, but I hope we can kind of delve into a bit of it.
Okay.
First off, you kind of have made a statement. You sit on a board for our country from these evangelical ministers.
Correct.
Talk to us about your reaction to what we just heard.
Well, our position as the National Clergy Council is that the comments were impolite, improper, out of place. We're talking about electing the next president of the United States, and there should be no religious litmus test to that. And so we wanted to come out with a clear statement that we were not happy with that particular point of view, and that statement was out of place.
And you know, it seems to be that after you guys have made your comments, a lot of people have come forward and said, this is about politics, not religion. So Sherilyn, let's kind of bring you in here on this point. Sure. How do we bridge that gap? Is religion a big deal when we're deciding who we're not to vote for, who we are going to vote for, and who we're not going to vote for?
Well, constitutionally, no. We can't determine who is a president based on their religion. That's a First Amendment protected right for freedom of religion. In this case, however, I think that what came into play was more one person's view that was based on perhaps fear of the unknown. Maybe he's not as familiar with Mormons as others. The Family Research Council, which sponsored that event, has always treated Mormons very well. I know some of those people, and we've worked alongside of them and Concerned Women for America and Eagle Forum and other groups where we come together on the family issues. And I think what they're doing is that we're looking for a candidate who understands the connection between the social moral issues and the fiscal issues.
So it seems to be that no matter what we do, our religion is a lot of who we are and what we stand for. So as much as we might say it doesn't play a part in politics and who we're going to vote for, it sort of does. What would you say to that?
Well, it does, but when people are better informed about this issue, they can make a better decision. For example, we operate at Christian Life Center, where we have a Christian school, Layton Christian Academy, on what I call the Luke 9:49-50 principle, where John came to Jesus about a guy casting out demons, and he said, we tried to stop him because he's not one of us. And Jesus says in verse 50, don't try to stop him. If he's not against us, he's for us. If we can get the evangelical community to understand that Mormons are not our enemies. Are there differences? Of course there are differences. But we are on the same team with the same goals, the same values, the same desires, and so let's work together.
So would you go as far as to say that you do not believe that Mormons are a cult? Or do you believe that?
I don't use the word cult. I think that's an inflammatory term, and I don't think it has any place in the discourse. There are differences theologically, and let the theologians talk about that. But I've been here 25 plus years working very closely with highest levels of the LDS community. We've had great support from our LDS community. I could dialogue at length. The bottom line is we have chosen to build bridges here in Utah over these 25 plus years and had a wonderful experience, and I wouldn't trade my LDS friends for anybody else in this country. And so let us build bridges. If we're not against each other, we're for one another. So let's keep it for one another.
Sherilyn, you're nodding your head. What do you feel about this?
Well, I used to live in Dallas, the Bible Belt, and I had a very interesting experience when I showed up at a school board meeting and they were trying to get rid of honors classes, and I spoke out on it. A group of parents came up to me and asked me if I would run for the school board. We were halfway into the campaign when the Baptist evangelicals and Catholics who were supporting me suddenly realized or learned that I was Mormon. And you know what? I have to hand it to them and give credit to those good people. They all stood by me. They were loyal, and they continued to support me. It's a great example of how we do come together for the right causes and for good purposes.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think Reverend Jeffries owes Mitt Romney an apology? Does he owe all Mormons? Does he owe everyone an apology, really?
I believe that he does, and I said so in my statement. I think that it is unhelpful. I don't think it advances the cause of Christ on any level, and I personally do believe that. And I would hope that he would recognize that his comments are hurtful and unhelpful. I don't know that he's willing to do that, but I would think he should.
Now, Sherilyn, do you think this hurts Rick Perry? What do you think Rick Perry needs to do now that he has these kind of negative comments directly surrounding him?
You know, I think it's going to be up to Rick Perry to decide how he's going to handle that. He can certainly stand on his own, and I'm sure that he will respond to it appropriately as he chooses. But in the end, we are looking, all of us, for the candidates that do understand that the breakdown of the family and choices that people make in their personal lives do have a fiscal consequence. About $2.2 billion right now from teen out of wedlock pregnancies and births go to Medicaid alone.
I know, we have a lot of work to do. We definitely do.
53%.
We have major issues.
We do, and I love this conversation. Thank you so much for being so open and sharing what you're feeling. We'll have more from you coming up in our next hour, and of course, more news, weather, and traffic right after this break.